Jeff Wilson here, and welcome to Forte. On this episode of Forte, it is my absolute pleasure to have Georgia Mack on. Georgia Mack was the wife of Reese in the movie Cagefighter.
Hello, how are you?
I really appreciate you joining. There's been a lot of great reviews on Cagefighter. You've been incredible in that show. I appreciate you taking the time. But when I looked at your Instagram handle, I was like, Curious Georgia. That's fascinating. What? Tell me a little bit more about your nickname or your handle.
My handle, awesome. So, Curious Georgia. I'm not sure if you've heard of Curious George the monkey. Curious George the monkey.
Oh yeah, absolutely. So the man in the yellow hat for sure.
The man in the yellow hat. So I used to teach swimming lessons, and with swimming lessons, I start the kids off at around like the age 2 to 3, and kids would be really scared to get in the water. But I would become Curious Georgia, like Curious George, and kids would all of a sudden actually want to go swimming.
Amazing. So it was out of the necessity to make sure you could teach them to swim.
It was a little trick, and then it turned into a nickname, and then I do have some monkey-like qualities, so
yeah. Fantastic. Hey, what was it like being one of 3 females, I think, working on Cagefighter? The ridiculous number of the most alpha of males you could have. Liddell, Alex, Luke Rockhold, Jon Moxley. Like, when I think about that group, I would be intimidated just hanging out with those guys. Tell me what that was like.
Going into it, I would say I'm definitely not a fight fan. I'm definitely didn't have that much knowledge on it. So going into it, I was a bit intimidated, but getting there and meeting Alex is such an amazing person. Chuck is honestly just like a dad. He's so sweet. Jon was very nice as well. He's a bit more reserved, and I'm very extroverted, so I feel like I actually might have frightened him there a bit. But I found that the way that the female characters were portrayed in the story, they were very strong and not victim-y at all. So I found that really balanced out having all these males and then only 3 females.
Fantastic. You got a little group. It's an intimate group. What was it like working with a legend like Gina Gershon?
Gina, that was honestly amazing. When I signed on to the project, I saw that she was on it, and it was one of the things that I was most excited to do. In my scene study class, we study plays every month. And I had studied a play that she had done as a movie, Killer Joe. And have you seen it?
I haven't, but I'm going to look for it now.
Matthew McConaughey. I would say it's not I guess I would say it's a thriller. It's kind of like a Southern thriller, but I played her character in the play that she played in the movie. So I got to connect to her on that level, and she's just so confident. She's just such a well-oiled machine. It was so inspiring to watch, and I've definitely picked up some handy little tips from her.
Her outtakes are hilarious in the film. I was like, oh my God, she's out of control. So I really enjoyed that when you saw those.
Yeah.
But talking about you, Georgia, like your scene between you and Alex, when he's about to give up, when he's like, he's down, everything's going wrong, and it is such an emotional and amazing scene. I was like, oh my God, this is I'm into the scene, but it's having an emotional effect. How did you get to that level of emotion between you and Alex in that scene?
That scene in particular, we shot at our house location, and we had that location for 2 days. So we actually had to shoot all of our really intimate stuff. Right. It was actually the first 2 days that we were there. I think it was like shoot day 2 of the whole shoot. We were jumping right into that. So the day before, it's like, hello. And the next day, it's like, I love you. We rehearsed a lot for those scenes. We'd meet up the night before the shoot, and we worked a lot off of mantras. So mantra is where it is about what you're saying, but it's really about what you're not saying. So in that scene in particular, I was fighting for Reese to be a man, and I wanted him to face himself. So we would do the lines, rehearsing, and then between each line, we would say if my line was, Reese, what are you doing? I'd do, Reese, what are you doing? Man up. And then you go into the next line. And I find that just doing that mantra work gets the energy really going, and you really chase after what you want. And when you don't get what you want, that's when emotion comes.
Amazing.
And that's when it's cool, because you realize you forget about thinking about getting emotional, and you just be. That sounds very actory, but
I love it. I mean, there are Zen statements out there about it's the spaces in between the bars that keeps the tiger caged. And understanding backstory before you become a character, that's just one level of it. I absolutely love it. And I love that you took that granular level of detail to it. You can see it in the scene. It is spectacular, and I was blessed to watch it. So thank you for giving that.
It shone through.
So thank you so much for taking the time. But if you had a walkout song, what would it be?
So if I had a walkout song, drum roll, it would be Georgia by Ludacris. So it's a remix. So there's not sure what time period it was in. I think it was a while ago. But my grandpa always used to sing to me Georgia by Ray Charles, I think. But anyways, it's that song brought into Ludacris world. Wow. So it's a little rappy. It's a little old school. It's a classic, and I'm a classic, so.
Fantastic. Georgia Mac, thank you so much for talking to us. If anybody wants to get a hold of you, how would they do that? As well as if you have anybody to thank, now would be the opportunity.
Anybody, you guys can check me out. My Instagram, as I said, is @CuriousGeorgia with 2 A's. Somebody stole the single A name. And yeah, the whole team and the crew, the cast of Cagefighter, especially Shane and Sarah, for giving me the opportunity to be Ellie, and Jesse, the writer and the director. And thank you for having me for this interview.
It's fantastic, and like we're getting more and more fans for the movie. The message is correct, the acting's fantastic, the humor's there, and I'm so blessed to talk to you. Good luck in your upcoming projects, and we'll talk again soon.
Thank you.